Baldis Basics in Education and Learning was a campy, silly horror game that was very indie, but it blew up into something way, way more for like a year. It sucks to say, but Baldis Basics is basically dead in the water by now, and a lot of people probably could have seen that on arrival. It was more of an imitation of Slender Man to begin with, based on a nostalgic look at games. But if it didn't continue to push itself, it would have died entirely. Following a Kickstarter, Baldis Basics did eventually develop itself into a full game known as Baldis Basics Plus. But by the time that follow-up had happened, the hype had already died. So now a game and a game series overall that I think has so much to offer is just completely dead and forgotten about. Now all it can really live on within is the fan base it had garnered to begin with. Those of which didn't leave. Which is why today we're going to be taking a dive into the weird world of Baldis Basics fan games. And fair warning, it's mostly Roblox. Baldis Basics Ultra Decompile. Honestly, I don't know where to even begin with this game. This game feels like a complete love project to the original Baldis Basics. The game is a mod of the classic Baldis Basics, but with all the other content we've gotten regarding Baldi from the original creator. So it's this big mix that you can just truly enjoy. Hell, it's even available on mobile if you have Game Jolt. The game has multiple different modes, so I'm going to need to touch on each different one, but it's nothing you haven't seen from Baldis Basics before. In the classic mode, you get to either play endless or story, in which you collect 7 notebooks. Both things available in the classic game, but with all the new characters and mechanics that have been worked into the series before. The classic mode is just so well oriented, you can even customize it, allowing you to try different combinations, taking away, adding, doing whatever you want with the huge roster that's been built up. We have Baldi, Playtime, Principal, First Prize, Fifth Prize Crafters, Gotta Sweep, Beans, Miss Pomp, Golden Baldi, Chalkies, Chockles, maybe? There's just so much immediately available in this game mode. You'd be surprised at just how much it changes the core gameplay overall. Although I will say, kinda disappointing that Baldi's just red for some fucking reason. If you wanted to, you could even decide to play random, which I believe will give you like a different map overall and like different random events and all. It's a really cool concept that was definitely brought over from Baldis Basics Plus, as most of this game is. I mean, that's the meat and potatoes of it all, but we do get 2 other modes that I think are pretty interesting. We get the field trip. So in this field trip, you collect sticks to keep Baldi's fire alive, and if it doesn't stay alive, given the amount of time you have to keep it alive, Baldi will kill you. You get most of the other core cast of the game there to try to stop you in some sort of way, and bear traps laid about. We've definitely seen this because it is just imported from Baldis Basics itself, but it's a cool mode to put with the classic, which we haven't had before. And if you're not feeling any of that, you can do farming, in which you get stuck in like what looks to be a corn maze, and you have to just find your way through an auto-generated maze to the flag. The water fountains they allow there help you to sprint faster because you can use them to regain your stamina. I think it's pretty alright. I'm not big on puzzles, but if you're a fucking nerd, I mean, go for it, man. Plus, we get to see fucking a rootin' tootin' ass Baldi, which might be the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Baldis Basics Sword Fight. So this is a Roblox game that I can't get fucking enough of. I don't know, it gives me shade of MOBA almost. So you get to choose from the core cast of Baldis Basics, and basically you fight trolls, but they all have different unique abilities, which I think is fucking sick actually. So Playtime has this long ass jump rope for attacks and everything, and Baldi gets like a sword and a fucking grenade, which is actually kind of insane. Never could have pictured him with that until now. Sleeper, he can just push people around and be all silly, and man, I don't remember it all, but just as for First Prize, let me just show you some fucking gameplay real quick, because it's crazy. Pretty fucking peak, I know, But I was thinking about this game, and I was thinking there could be a fucking meta to this. A meta to a Baldi's Basic sword fighting game has to be one of the funniest concepts I've ever thought of. But you see that cone that I'm playing on? What if we had first prize able to push it off? Baldi, since he gets more close in range, he would probably come down and try to keep them off to begin with. Playtime would be able to like keep distance, so I don't know what her like play style would be, because she could either try to keep them off of there in general so that the people up on top can stay there, or if she just wants to go about fight. That's less of a meta and more of like a play style thing, but I think it's really funny that we could get sweats on Baldi's Basic sword fighting. Allow me to be the first sweat. The Schoolhouse. The Schoolhouse is a Roblox game. Recognizing a pattern. The School is a Roblox game in which there are multiple different maps you try to escape from Baldi with. You answer the math questions, you go against the core crew and everything. It's really interesting. I think the coolest part is that you can play as Baldi, but I've tried so many times, guys, and I cannot get to play as Baldi for y'all to see. It has an interesting mechanic, though, of you get put in timeout when you get to, and you can use, like, a key. You can use a key to get out of timeout early, I think is pretty cool. And then you have, like, the normal items and everything. I think it's just a really fun way to play the game with other people, and it's pretty cool that it exists on Roblox in general. What's actually crazy to me is it even has it has a cutscene, and it definitely rips the audio from Baldi's Basics games that already existed. But it's just cool that it has a cutscene. Here that is now. Bro, I'm constantly getting about sick of Dead by Daylight, that asymmetrical horror game type thing. Let's just move on to fucking Baldi's Basics on Roblox, don't we? Last, but definitely, and I mean definitely not least, is our final Roblox game and final game overall, Baldi's Basics The Rake Takeover. So I'm a huge fan of creepypasta overall. You know, grew up with it and everything. So it looked pretty cool when I saw it, and when I went into it, let me tell you, you know what, before anything, here's a few minutes of me running away from Baldi and friends because I thought they were my enemies, and I mean, I was sweating, like, I didn't understand the game or nothing, I was just straight sweat. Hey, for real though, the game is actually like beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game. It captures so much about what I love about liminality, and I was not expecting that from a Baldi game. The weird dreamscape-esque design with all the chairs everywhere really gets magnified, and you start to see it more when you're covered in all this fog and the bright lights and the things just being everywhere. It's beautiful, and it's captivating, and it's like, what the fuck? I'm playing a Roblox game? The main point of the game is that the Rake is attempting to take over, and you have to like kill him, and there's different nights and everything. I'm gonna be honest, I'm lost on the mechanics. Of course, there's the Rake, kill him, this and that, but I was just so entranced by the way everything looked. It was like, it gave me a vibe, and the only way I could explain that vibe with is with one of my songs, which you should definitely go listen to. like got my ass kicked a lot, but I couldn't recommend this game more. It is genuinely striking. Just give it a shot, especially if you're into liminality the same way I am. Fuck, man. I can't let that fire go out. I can't.